die. No, whoa. You think they wrote that part, or that was ad libs? Or you think
no,
the
they
lyrics
wrote
is
that, yeah.
no, whoa? You know, does it say that?
Lane Staley definitely wrote that down. A lot of little O's and then a big O, and then more little O's, and an H at the end.
Here comes the rooster.
That.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Not to make fun. We love the rooster. I'm just saying. I find it fun. Look at my shirt today.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Wrong side. Not Dave Grohl. I love it. We love you, Derek. Derek's leaving us.
We are on.
So if things go to shit
cruise
this morning,
control, baby. We're going to see what happens.
we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen.
It's going to be like in
Anything could happen.
Anchorman 2. Where he's like, no, I set the cruise control.
Plus, Derek always edits us.
He does.
We can say fuck as much as
Whoa,
we
whoa, whoa,
whoa, whoa. Calm down. Calm down. Where's Tom?
Chad, I'm glad you missed me. I missed you guys. I'm glad to be back.
Adam Price is all caps. Oh, yeah, that's true. I hope everyone is good. Sean, I think Sean is feeling better. Are you feeling better?
I am, yeah.
Were you feeling bad?
Yeah, it is, you know. I was tired. I wasn't sick and tired.
I was sick and tired. You had done a Merle Fest.
And a Merle Fest.
Listen, maybe you've gone to Merle Fest and pranced about and had fun. Until you've been in that vendor tent for 18 hours a day. Good God.
Fun is not the, I mean, it's fun. I love all the people, but man, it'll run you down.
Poor Doug is checking in.
Doug from PA.
Back to the meeting.
Now back to the meeting. I like it.
Surrender.
We got surrender in here.
BLDRV says, 7 says, Star Singer Shods, Honey Picks, tune in to see what to purchase this week. I'm sure we'll come up with something.
Oh, we can come up with anything, dude.
Dumb old Greg McFadden's got me lusting after the Tone King pedal. He called last week. He's like, which was awesome of Greg. He's like, man, just want to make sure you knew you can plug it into the amp. And like we were talking through it, and he was like, take out your credit card and just buy it. And I was this close. So Tone King has launched this new like a pedal board, pedal. It's basically the Imperial in a pedal. It's got tubes in the pedal.
Yeah.
It's got on-hammer IRs loaded into it. You can load your own IRs if you want.
Okay.
But so instead of it being like a modeler, like a snapshot or whatever, it's just the Imperial in a pedal. Like it's just that amp. So it's got the attenuator.
Kind of like the UA, the original UA pedals. Yeah.
But it seems better in every way.
Yeah.
You can put it in the effects loop of your actual tube amp and just expand the channels. It would be like having 3 more channels in your tube amp.
Nice.
You know what I mean? You could turn the IRs off and run it to the front end of your amp. Or you can, just run straight to the board.
Hell yeah.
And everybody's saying that it sort of feels the most like.
Well, that sounds awesome.
It's like $600 or $700. But I think if you needed a direct solution, because my thing is I always want something on my board that I don't have to necessarily take off that like could work when I don't want to go direct. Yeah. And I think that could be it. So I don't know.
What do you think about those Milkman amps? They do the same thing, like the pedals.
I think it's the right idea. Does that have IRs in it?
No, I don't think so.
See, I think what always turned me off to those is like it is the amp, but you still have to have some kind of cab. Yeah. Or you got to have like an IR loader. Well, because for a while that was the thing, right? People would sell separate IR loaders.
You know who we need to ask?
I'm not really into that.
I need to ask Sweetie Pie, Little Zach Person, dude, because he played one of those for a couple months. And
what, the Milkman thing?
Yeah, it was on his board, and I can't remember how he ran it because we talked about it, but at that point in time we weren't tight. Like
can't you run a straight up like a regular guitar cab from this?
I would assume.
Like just plug in a 412 cab. Do you remember like
Like it has an ohm load?
Well, this is going way back. Like you remember you could get the Electro Harmonics. It was like the something Magnum. They had like a 45.
Oh yeah.
And it was like an amp on your pedal board, and you could just run a normal cabinet.
That's wild. We need to get
Todd
one of those
Roy.
and try it out.
We got everybody, man. We got Ned. We got Alex Holden. An HX Stomp is $700. If you like it better than that, there you go.
Milk Person, Tom says. That's amazing. I'm going to have to tell Zach that. Be like, Zach, you got to go back to playing Milkman so you find yourself Milk Person.
Greg says, tell Hoss Jr. to eat his girlfriend's house the next week, and you should be able to get it. That is amazing. He still thinks girls are kind of gross at 11. I mean, I can tell that not all the time, but his his you know,
I mean,
his public platform right now is that girls are gross.
it is funny because he is like man-sized. So whenever he's like, ugh, girls.
When you see him with
I'm
kids
what?
like his own age and they're like, you know,
Oh yeah, no.
at his nipples, like, oh, okay.
He's like, I could kill you.
I mean, he maybe could. He's too sweet.
I know.
He hasn't found his like killer instinct yet.
He's
When
got-
he does, he might be in trouble.
He is such a you know, like think of who's the big wrestler? Who's the guy? He used to live around here. What's his name? You know, the big dude.
Andre the Giant.
Yeah. He has that kind of energy that he could bonk a kid on the head and knock him out. Like he can just be like, bam.
Well, I have to like okay, so like we played a music festival Sunday, this big charity thing, right?
Yeah.
And the kids were loving it. They were out playing.
Yeah.
And my daughter is like, if you take her anywhere and you blink, she's found some tribe of girls that she's friends with. And I guess that's just how little girls are. But like sometimes it's trickier for boys to be like, you know, oh, we're pals now. You
I'm
know
gonna
what I
go
mean?
make a friend. Yeah.
But sometimes they do, and when they do, it's usually because they're destroying a thing together. You know, they've got all, and I look over there and they're at the edge of the woods, and it's like Lord of the Flies, and like Elijah's got all these sticks. But I can tell the other
Wooden
moms
sticks.
are eyeing him because it looks like there's some 14-year-old kid over there with their little kids. And like Elijah's playing tug of war with him, and it's like all the other kids against him. Like it's like the Brute Squad with Andre the Giant and the Princess Bride. And I was like, okay. And I always feel like I have to keep an eye because I'm like, okay, no, he's just 11. Just relax. But it was really kind of funny.
But I mean, that is cool though. That you know he's.
But he is
the
that. I
right
think
kind
that
of
trains
plan.
those very large kids to be like, hey, don't hurt anybody, don't kill anybody. Because then I get him out in sports, and I'm like, go kill him, and he's like, he hadn't learned to turn it on.
You
yet.
gotta tell him. With great power
No, that's right.
comes
Comes
great
responsibility.
responsibility.
Start making him wear a mask. Honey Picks. I read his original comment. It was like, I've been using the toner at church lately, like making copies. It was like, we use the copy machine here all the time. No, but I figured you meant Tonex. The Tonex is great, but I will say the Tone King is the first thing that's made me think, ooh,
Tone King.
maybe I should.
You know what's above
Switch.
a Tone X, Johnny?
The Tone King?
A Tone King.
But no, I mean, the Tone X is great, and for the same reason as the Tone King, is you can just throw it on your pedal board and use all your pedals. Are you running it like with just on your pedal board, like drive stuff in front and then wet stuff behind, or like, I mean, that's how I do it, but anyways. Any chance we can add guitar weights in the website for like when your guitars want to work out? No, I'm sorry.
Beautiful.
I'm making all the dad jokes.
There, for a lot of them, they are on there just checking the specs. Making some changes anyways to some of the website stuff. So I'm gonna see if I can maybe make that. I might.
Maybe possible.
Would it be funny if like the weight was really obnoxious? Like I made it like a good bit larger than everything else? Because no matter what, like I promise you, there's guitars that we've done the weights on, and on Reverb or on the website, we still get emails and calls about what's the weight. So my thought is I make it comically big. And there probably isn't one on the guitar that you're gonna ask about, but.
What are you gonna do? Okay, so Honey Picks is
Lethal Weapon. Mel
he puts the Tonex after his board. So, like, I'm assuming that means you're probably running clean amps, so you can run delay and stuff into them. Jen Rice says, "Hey, Casino Crew, Sean got that." There you go. Now I get it.
Lethal Weapon, dude. Mel Gibson.
Todd can only bench 2 Strats right now. If there's 70 Strats, that's pretty good.
That is. That's actually kind of impressive.
It's pretty good.
If they're
Kevin
hardtails,
Walsh.
even more impressive. Kevin Walsh. Kevin sent us a really cool amp.
We did. I got to see it unboxed before Sean took it home to like put it. Did you play it like for real?
Yes. I couldn't crank the master up as much as I wanted to, but I'm gonna do that.
It's called a High Tone,
Yeah.
which is by the son of the guy who
Made high watt.
High Watts.
So
It sounded really cool. It's so funny how loud it can be clean,
yes,
but it kind of still has a character to it.
it does. Yeah.
I dig it.
What?
And you made it dirty when you did both
Yes,
channels.
You can.
Kind of.
They got a link setting on there. You turn both those knobs up, and it's like the right amount of drive. It's not like, it's not a Marshall. You know what I mean? But it has a good push to it. I like it. I think it was a good pick, Kevin. And I'm gonna do some recording at home. I've tried to do like videos from home before, and I just don't feel like it's hard. It's weird.
It is.
You know?
It's
Like,
sadly tricky.
You know, I say hard. It's not like it's super difficult. It's just like. It's just, I'm like, my space, like this looks so nice, and try to clean it up and do it right.
That's what you just said. it's hard to make them at home, right?
Yeah.
This makes me think of, you've been following the whole, what's the dude's name? Yakmo Tura, or however you say his name. You know what I'm talking about?
You talking about the solo guy?
So the guy who, used to pop up and do all the videos, like him playing great stuff, and it turns out he was stealing
Fake.
people's stuff. Well, yeah.
False.
So he's faking it. So like I watched another video of a guy talking about how he had done all these takes like for YouTube and stuff, and like he would throw them away because like 2 notes wouldn't be as crisp. And we were talking about how some of these guys will edit it to make every note perfect.
Yep.
And they were actually showing how the fake guy would take the tab, put it in the MIDI file, like how you can make it play, and then just run that through an amp sim to make it. So I was like, that sucks. But here's my thing, right? Because sometimes I will play things, and it's just my iPhone through whatever little crappy thing I'm playing through. And sometimes even if I'm playing through my great amps, by the time if they're turned up and the phone compresses them, it doesn't sound great.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I'm always like, man, should I take the time to like go into a a DAW?
Well, the
YouTube,
Instagram thing, all that stuff. For me, there's been so many times I'll record myself playing something and then I just delete it because I'm like, oh, it's not good enough because of that thing. I watched Adam Neely and Rick Beato's video on it. Did you see those?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't watch the whole Adam Neely. I saw clips of it and I watched all of the Rick Beato one.
Adam Neely's is I think the best because it's very balanced in a good way. Like all he's doing is saying like, hey, here's the pros, here's the cons, here's how often it happens.
But he gets
and you don't
mostly
realize
into
it.
the faking thing, right?
Yes.
Obviously that guy is a piece of shit because he's stealing all these people's music.
Yes, yeah, that part is fucked. That's not good.
We don't like it.
But the other stuff is like
I always thought that guy was a little weird anyway. I was something about him that you're just like, eh.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a whole. Whenever people are like, I like the way Adam Neely goes into this, like the Instagram guitar sounds and stuff. I'm like, they're like, oh, it just sounds cool. I don't really like it. Like all the.
Some of it I think it's cool.
I mean, sometimes, but I'm like.
But it does get old, right? Like
it kind of grates on me.
I kind of liked it better when we were a little lower fi and people were just playing, kind of like the Uncle Larry vibe.
Yes.
Like when I post videos, that's like, I don't know, I don't want to spend 10 hours on trying to make a Instagram clip. If I feel like playing something and then posting it.
Well, yeah. And
I just will.
Yeah. I've had some thoughts on this with my music and my project and stuff that I've been working on. And I pitched this idea to somebody that I knew who's like in a management role for another local band in the area. And they said, it could maybe work. I was like, no social media, 0. No online presence, just
0.
Who cares?
Play live.
Burn it all. Like just don't have any of it and go out and, if I do something, like I can, I'd rather it be posted to like a YouTube than spending all my time smacking people in the face with the same song 50 times over the course of 4 weeks just to get them to be like, no, look, I made a new release.
There's something after a while, that, not necessarily to everyone else, but to yourself that just starts to feel messaging. You're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I know everybody here who's played in like a band, whether it's a cover band or you wrote originals. God bless you. You have that thing where like when you're really trying to get a band tight, especially when you're young and you're it's a new thing, right?
Yeah.
By the time you go play that thing the first time, you kind of hate it already. Everybody's experienced that at least once, right?
Yes.
You're like, God, I love this song and I wrote it and now we've practiced it so much that I'm
like,
hate it already. I think the social media just adds to that. It just makes it happen that much quicker because you're constantly trying to post a little clip of it or you're trying to post a new thing. You're trying to...
And you're trying to do a creative, real... that is... It's tricking the algorithm and I'm like, you know what? I don't want to... I'm not here to... perfect algorithms. I'm here to write good music. So.
Generai says, he's talking about this guy, however you say his name, Yakmo or whatever. If he gets to hang around in the music community and get a redemption arc, that'll be totally a shame. Yeah, see, I don't know if you get a, like,
Not for
you hate to say that a guy is like totally just out forever, but I mean, like, the faking is one thing. Get a redemption arc for faking. Oh, you weren't good enough to do it live and now you've gotten better. Okay. But just the flat out stealing people's junk, and it would be less a big deal to me if he wasn't selling them on his Patreon or
well,
you know what I mean? Like that's pretty horrible.
And
it's just blatant. It's like you didn't accidentally do that. You know what I mean? Or oh, I wasn't aware. I mean, you just
No. And he knew, and that's like the Rick Beato video where he shot a video with this guy brought him in, sat him down. They went and he went to play. And
That was
Rick
the big.
was like,
I mean,
whoa, what's going on?
and I will say this: I think it speaks really well of Rick. That he wasn't like, hey, we tried to do a video with this guy and he sucked.
And he didn't put it out.
He would have never said it though.
He would never said it.
If it wasn't for this. And I think that's pretty cool of old Mr. Beato.
Because the truth in that sense could be that he didn't ask him like, you know, oh, well, did you not write all these solos and all this great stuff? He just assumed, well, maybe.
Well, writing a thing and playing a thing live is a different. I mean, you know. Anybody who's trying to know. This is, I got to read this comment because it's interesting. So Greg says, with the tone, back to the Tone King thing slightly, he says, I A-B'd my, and this is kind of cool because I would never think to do this live, but it's pretty neat. He said, I A-B'd my old tones, HX Stomp, Line, and the Dream, 65. So the Helix thing and then 2 of the UA pedals that everyone has raved about, by the way. Like everyone raved about that Line and, you know, the Dream was pretty amazing since it came out. Says at one of my gigs against the Tone King for the audience. Best response was it just went from 2D to 3D. Everyone was saying it was a big improvement. Pretty awesome.
That's cool.
I think that's kind of like me and you, Sean and I were talking about the close miking thing when you take the mic and you lay it against your friggin' guitar cab, you know, and there's no space versus
you're just getting that
backing
sound.
it off. Like, because like at the, Sean was doing a lot of sound at the festival on Sunday and then got up and jammed with us, which is awesome. But, you know, you had the mic back.
Yeah.
Maybe a foot.
Yeah. And that's how I recorded in the studio.
Because bleed is a myth.
That's right. It's not real.
It's not. I mean, let it bleed. Who cares,
Let
right?
it bleed.
It's all coming out of the same place.
Don't you know the Rolling Stones record? That's why
But
they
it does a big thing
does.
as far as like the
Yes.
not 2D-ness of the sound on your mic jam.
In-house recording that I do, like in my little home studio, I do that.
After he
I pull
makes you
way
take
back.
your clothes off.
That's right.
It's weird. It's just one of his rules.
You got to drop
get
top.
naked. Gotta get naked. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I just don't know. Jonathan, have you changed or decided which pickups to put in your telly bridge yet? You have me wondering if I should swap my Twisted Tellys for some no-caster pickups. So the answer is no. I am paralyzed by indecision at the moment. And dear Kevin Walsh's Twisted Tellys, they just stare at me from my kitchen table because I'm like, man, tonight I should just do it. And then I'll be looking at those. I'll have Lawler pulled up, and I'll be like, man, but my telly, it sounds really great right now. So,
You're like, damn it.
one day I'll be fed up, and I'll just do it, and then I'll tell you all, and I'll be, you know.
We've talked about this before, though. The fear of messing up the magic. You know, like if it's somewhere and you're like, well, it plays this good, even though you know that whatever you do will probably be an improvement.
Maybe.
You know. That's right.
Maybe. Because I've had the opposite. I've had the thing where it's like, my God, I ruined this.
Yeah.
And I think there's something psychological in my brain where it's like the lemon phenomenon where I'm like, once I get it screwed up, I get it right back to exactly how it was. And I'm like, no, it's not the same.
It's soiled.
It'll never be the same.
Soiled.
You know, I don't know. I
We
sometimes
had
have
this
problems
guy
with that.
come in. He probably is watching this right now. If you're watching this, James, know that this
I'm
is
sorry.
totally just me just punking you around a little bit. He brought in his custom shop, and he was like, I think the truss rod needs to be adjusted, but I don't want to take the neck off. And I just looked at him and said, sounds like you don't want the truss rod adjusted. So I go to do it, and he's like, oh, why are you being so hard with it? It's like,
Sean's breaking over his knee.
you know, but no, he just.
It's just a guitar, man. No.
At the end of the day, it's wood, baby. Let's make magic. You are the magic.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of true.
You're the magic, Jonathan.
You're the
Your
magic.
red sparkles don't make magic. You make magic.
No one makes magic.
You need a red sparkle jacket
God.
that goes with the guitar, dude. Imagine that, like
Hot.
black, you know, fucking cuff to it like that. Like,
Have I ever told you so I used to work for this guy down in Somerville, South Carolina. He owns a shop called Somerville Music Center. Awesome guy named Mike Limpy. Everybody calls him Lumpy. Super, super cool guy. Amazing drummer. He'll be doing junk like playing and then like keep the beat going and then like balance a drumstick on his nose. Like,
oh, that's awesome.
He's just a
That's
showman,
kinda cool.
right?
Yeah.
He's just a showman. But like, one of these guys just been in bands all his life. and was in a band where they were like opening for the Eagles and like one of the guys produced some stuff. So great singer, just all around good dude.
Yeah.
And runs a really good teaching program, like I said, now in Somerville, South Carolina. So if you're around there, look him up, Somerville Music Center. I'm 99% sure that still exists. But when he was young and they were doing the Eagles thing, they got I think it was a G&L, like they were endorsed by him.
Yep.
So they get to go to the factory and pick out a guitar, right? So at this point, I think Mike was playing the drums and singing. A guitar player picks out this sparkle, like telly, like I think it was like Silver Flake or something, like real sparkly. And so if you know Mike, he's kind of like prankster, trickster. So him and the other guys in the band, they go to the craft store and get some glitter, so like sparkly glitter stuff. And every night when that dude would go to sleep, they would pour it out on his bed and like by his guitar. And they kept telling him the finish was coming off. And he like took it back to the factory and everything, and they kept it going for months. And he's like going crazy, and I thought that was hilarious.
That's hilarious.
I mean, it's just hilarious.
That is great.
But anyways,
Sparkles everywhere. That's amazing.
Mr.
There's something good about a long-term griff like that. You know, you just keep it going.
It's sort of like for a while. Can we say this?
I think we can say it now.
We were trying to convince Dylan for a while that Baxter was joining the Church of Scientology.
Like the depths that we went to though was awesome. Like we
Having
all learned
literature
about
sent
it.
here,
Yes.
wearing bracelets.
Baxter went to Nashville and got his photo taken outside of the Scientology place.
Everybody was in on it but Dylan. Dylan still doesn't know because then Dylan
he'll probably know
the greener
now.
patch. He'll know now.
It's funny though because like whenever we first said it, like we're expecting him to start to have a reaction or anything, and he's just like, "What's that?" We were like, "Damn it!" So then we had to explain parts of it. And be
Then the long con had to be longer because we had to take time
to get him to see how bad it was. Yeah.
We did get him concerned there after a while.
Oh yeah, he was like, "I just don't know."
Chad says Gene Baxter's not a Scientologist. Joke's on us. He really is. That would be the plot twist. Plot twist.
Guys, I signed your souls away.
Yeah.
I saw a guy asked a couple of times, and we were just in the middle of a conversation. He asked what we thought of Paisley guitars.
Our dear friend Mr. Rod Washburn, I think works for them now, or with the whole
whatever
group, the
I
umbrella
can't think what it is.
company.
It's all good though. Rod's great.
Lion or something like that. Leon and Hilly or something like that.
that.
Anyways, I don't know much about them personally, but everybody seems to generally like them. That's hard though because here's the hard thing, and I'm gonna be more honest than I should be right now. Every brand like that now gets its own little cult internet following. The internet and YouTube has made it so that you can think of anything like that, and no matter how much some people hate them, there's gonna be a little group of people who are like, this is the best. And I don't care if it's Novo or whatever guitar you can think of.
Paisley, Iconic.
So
Shabbat, I think, is gonna be on the
It's hard
list.
to trust that. Now, a lot of it with the guitars we just mentioned is absolutely warranted, and they are good. They still might not be for you, but the love is warranted. You know what I mean? So, but some of them, it's not. Yeah. Like some of them, I don't get it at all. But all I'm saying is it used to be able to look on the internet and be like, okay, this is good or bad, and now I think you're gonna overwhelmingly, the stuff you find is that everything is good, and not everything can be good or the best thing for you, right? Like, so it's kind of tricky. And I don't know how you curve that at this point, but did you order your built yet? Sadly, no. No, I still think that we're gonna do something as Casino with built. We've kind of been in the middle of 2 or 3 other things, so that took a bit of a back burner. But the old El Hombre still does. I think about it quite often.
El Hombre.
Sadly, I'm having to adult
at
the moment, so I think
we're
anything,
both
gears leaving
in the same boat of like.
Sadly, no.
We want to do. I want to do a build, but I'm also in the same boat where I'm like,
probably the only reason I didn't take out my credit card and buy its own King pedal. So far, what's up, Bill Allman?
Where was it?
Ned's got a good point. He says, when I look at reviews, I look at the negative ones and then decide if the people who wrote them, where'd it go to? Seem like idiots, which often they do.
I do the same.
Quickly,
Basil.
by the way, Bean Lambs, we had a pretty historic day yesterday. We got the Evil Pumpkin on the friggin' books. It's coming. It's ready. It's gonna have an evil liquidy. I don't know how you say it. Whatever. But anyway, we've been working on this guitar, guys, for I don't know how long, like a long time. And yesterday, bam!
Locked it in. Boom. He did it.
Through no fault of Mr. Beanlams himself. It was a very involved process. It was. Levi Perry was kind of awesome. He always is, though. And then finally we nailed it down with the old custom shop.
Yeah.
So
Levi's such a good dude. What a good dude. That's all I gotta say. Basil Tiffany says, what's the minimum number of amps it's reasonable to own? It's got to be higher than 1.
15.
But how much higher?
If you don't have 15 amps, what are you doing? I think
there's not a number, you know. It's just like because I would never stop.
I know.
What's the definition of a problem?
This does a thing. Stop. It does a thing. How many times have you said that to justify that to yourself?
It does a thing. It does a thing.
But because there's the do you want the one amp to rule them all? Like the one thing to do everything? That's when I feel like you buy like a Mesa. You know what I mean? You buy like a Lone Star or something. Yes. You're like, oh, it's got 5 clean channels and 18 dirty channels.
Yes.
And that works for some people. I've never been able to make that work.
I can't.
I mean, in a perfect world, and maybe this is why I love Mike Campbell, I would have like 7 little combo amps behind me and a switcher. And it would just be like, bam,
you know what
tweed,
I mean, man?
Bam, brown face, bam.
Let's say you get to the level where you're like a Joe Bonermeister or, you know, a Mike Campbell. You've actually had a career.
No, it's fine. It's warranted.
No,
it's not a pile-on if it's true.
I'm kidding, Joe. I'm kidding. Don't hate me. I'm just joshing you.
Joe, we gotta talk about Joe in a minute. I got to think about Joe. A news article.
Okay.
Oh God.
Scandal. No. Having that, like having one of each, would just be nice to look at. Imagine if you came home and you saw your little Princeton. You got your 60s Princeton, your blackface Princeton, right? The deluxe, the twin, the super reverb, and then you got your silver faces right beside those, same thing. Then you got your little champs, you know, and then you're like, damn, and then you turn around the other corner and you're like, oh, and I've got all the brown ones.
Oh my God.
That's amazing.
And then you look around and there's like a little JTM 45, and you're like, oh my God, this is great. Right. This is great.
Tweed bassman.
Oh.
I'm just saying, that sounds like heaven to walk into that room and be like, oh.
The only problem is I would never know what to play.
Oh, dude.
But I would have to have like a thing with like combine like 4 or 5 amps, and I would always have them in the little on deck section, you know, like bam, and then they'd go back in their little place. Man, that would be amazing. I'd have to get rid of my wife and my children.
You know how dope that'd be?
Imagine I just wouldn't have time for anything else.
You got a little home studio set up, and you're like, today I think it's a super reverb.
Imagine if you could set them up and have those mics that move themselves.
Oh.
And just be like hitting the button, and it like goes to, oh my God.
Across the line.
Oh my God.
You know how awesome it would sound if you did that and you had a switcher where you're running to like 5 amps and you have it go from one side of the room to the other while you're playing chords through it? Think about how crazy that would sound on a microphone.
It would sound awesome. It would sound really cool. That would be cool. We could rig that up with Derek's little camera rack thing.
That would be so dope. God. We got to do that. That would be awesome, dude.
When we do our AB at the Rister, that might be what we do.
That would be sick. That'd be insane.
So pissed at us. He's like, no, I have to bring all this junk back. But that's pretty cool.
That's crazy. That's a good idea.
Speaking of old, I was going to call him the Bonermeister like you did. Old Joe Bonamassa. God bless him. So our pal Eddie, 9-volt, posted yesterday. He said, man, this is the best tour that he's ever come back off of. Because he's like, we got sold out shows. It was like all these things are happening. They just had a big thing on Sirius where like they interviewed him and like played his songs for an hour.
We heard it. They did a live thing for him. It was awesome.
Obviously, he just signed with Dan Arbach from the Black Keys, like to their record label. So
about time they got a rock star. Go ahead.
Well, and he's, Eddie was saying that like everybody's like, oh, this is overnight. It's like you shot up overnight, and he's like, I promise you, it wasn't overnight. But looking in the little comments, there was old Joe Bonamassa, and he said, congratulations, sir, well deserved. And we know Bonamassa mentioned how good Eddie was at the Albert King thing on the Gibson video.
All right.
I'm just saying there might be a romance.
Joe?
A bromance, if you will.
Good job.
And if Joe is good with our pal Eddie,
then I guess we got to be good with Joe. Joe, I'm putting the sword down. All right?
One day, if we ever do get to meet Joe Bonamassa, He's gonna be like, you assholes. And then we're gonna be like, man, we were just kidding. I'm sorry.
Well, I thought that about Red Shoal, and then I met him, and he was like, fine. He was like, oh yeah, hey, how's it going? It's like, damn it.
Don't you lie to these people.
Why are you so damn
Don't
nice?
you lie to these people.
I know.
Oh, no.
Now
I'm sure
for the
it's fine.
truth.
Don't you lie. John Washburn says he rarely plays electric guitars and he has at least half a dozen amps. That's the way to do it right there.
That is the way.
That ain't working. That's the way you do it. I still, that was one of my favorite moments in our casino history is playing
That was pretty
Money
awesome.
for Nothing on the old Chad B's Les Paul
That's the way you do it.
with good old Roland Beckerman and B. Clem on the bass. Todd Rose says, if you meet Joe, buy him a Diet Coke and a cigar. I wonder how good of a cigar it's got to be. I bet he smokes pretty good ones.
What if I rolled up and I had a pack of White Owls and I said, hey, Joe,
Put my pocket.
you and me
Here you go, pal.
outside
I want my
burn some of these soaks, dude.
It's got to be CTV, Jen Rye. MTV, is it even a thing? Not really.
MTV. Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Like, it's funny that MTV was more of a thing in the 2000s, even though we think of that as its, like, dying period.
Yep.
Because they had all those crazy reality shows, like Rock of Love.
Okay, Chad B's asking an important question. He says, why is that members only? We didn't intend it to be, Chad B. However, in my fervor, I sang the original lyrics. And then we thought, some people might not get the joke. And then we thought about it, and I said, put it out.
Right,
People are smart.
24 hours, it's going.
Oh my God. And then I said, you know what? People aren't smart. Don't put it out. Make it members only. So that was why, if you're not
24
familiar with the
hours.
line,
Jesus Christ.
my God, I've ruined it. I've ruined it. This is the same conversation we had before. Should I do it? Should I do it?
Should
Yeah,
I do
just
it?
post it. No, don't do it.
Should I do
so
it?
anyways, that was why it was members only. Because dumb old Johnny Robb sang the original lyrics the way Mark. But you know, whatever. That's all.
Maybe I'll do like a horn honk.
Huh. Well, and then I didn't even think about it until afterwards. I was like, oh yeah, he's changes the lyrics now. But you know, whatever. It's the world we live in.
It's okay.
I mean, it's okay. I really don't. I mean, it's.
I mean, the truth be told, if we did put it out, I don't think it would have enough push
Hey,
behind it for people to be like,
The great news is no one watches after 30 seconds.
they've already
Let's
checked
be honest.
out.
How many times do you like? I know this from making my own little YouTube videos that I've been incredibly slack about for a year. You know, people would always ask questions that I knew I answered about 2 or 3 minutes in.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh yeah, no, you just didn't watch. You know, you watched 40.
You only
40. Now I know that's probably not you guys.
No.
But most
you guys
people,
are legends. You're not
Todd
like
Roy,
the
yes, that's right. I was just being true to the song. But if hindsight, but that really was such a. We didn't go there that night to do that.
No.
What were we doing?
Y'all,
We were rehearsing, maybe.
Yeah, I think we recorded a bunch of you were working on some new originals, and we recorded those, and for some reason had the cameras set up. Why do we have the cameras set up?
We had done some demo for real, and when we did have Chad's Les Paul that had the new Gibson humbuckers in it. But were we doing something with that? I don't remember. But anyways, and it was just a random thing. Chad says it was a great guitar. It was a great guitar. But so yeah. Anyways. Hey Casino Crew, what are some of your favorite boutique Fender style amps? I think that you love Milkman.
Milkman's great. Marlas are great if you're looking for someone that lives somewhat in that tweed world.
It's kind of tricky because Fender amps themselves are so good.
They're great.
And for some of the boutique stuff, you could just get like a deluxe reverb, like an old one, like a 60s or especially a Silverface.
Yeah.
But I mean, like
Or
Tonking is great.
You could get a hand wired.
You could get a hand. You could get like the 64
Those are badass.
Deluxe. That's a great amp, man. So is the 57 Custom. It depends if you want tweed or if you want like what style Fender amp you want.
I'm trying to think. There's another one out there that's like.
What's the Headstrong? The guy
Headstrong.
makes. A lot of people are like big
people,
people are using
yeah.
those, man. They're supposed to
JD
be
Simo says
kind of
that's the
amazing.
only
I've seen old Warren Haynes using those lately. I mean, there's just so many good ones. You know.
I mean, like Carr does good stuff. That's another one I'm thinking of, like the Super B and stuff like that.
Ken says, please talk about the future of music stores. It doesn't look great.
Well,
We're just stupid enough to keep pressing on. I think, I'll be straight honest with you, since we're on the live stream. We can talk here. Forget nuance and subtlety. If you are the old style, like you walk in and there's the beat board, guitars on the wall, and the giant drawers of picks, and you're focused on sort of mid to low end, like Squire, and I don't mean that bad at all. I just mean that range, beginners. It's really hard.
Yeah.
Like, you're probably, it's been this way for a long time. You're relying on lessons, and if that's what you want to do, that's awesome,
Yep.
But it's really tricky, and I would hate to be getting into it under that old sort of model right now.
Yes.
You gotta, I feel like to really succeed and thrive, you gotta figure out your own sort of niche little thing. And I mean, there's probably a thing where there's this model now where people think, oh, you start a YouTube channel and you do this. Well, that's tricky too. You gotta find your own thing even in that. So,
when I think there's a lot of, we had a cool conversation with the acoustic shop guys about this. I think a lot of people view stuff like a YouTube channel where it's like whenever we started, we didn't start with, a bunch of subscribers. And whenever I say a bunch, like we didn't start with 5,000 or 10,000 subscribers. It was like,
0 subscribers.
it was 0. And we had to do this low, it was this really long
All true
climbing
things.
thing, but the truth of the matter is we just did it every day. Derek edits videos every day,
8 years.
8 years.
Videos 5
just
times a week.
every single day, and it's not, there is a thing of like, you just do it to also kind of do it. Like, I think we all enjoy this to some degree, you know what I mean? Like, we have our own take with this thing, and it's fun. But yeah, I think as a shop, if you're not, like, don't do that unless that's what you really want to do. Because I've talked to too many people who are like, we tried it for 3 months. We tried it for 6 months. I'm like, I don't know anybody who did it for 3 or 6 months and it was on, other than Derek's son. His YouTube channel popped off on his first short. Sort of, kind of, in its own way. I was impressed with how many views that had. I was like, damn, it's like, took us a year and a half to get there. What the hell?
Here's 2 questions we got to answer, right? So Todd says, it's not really a question. Says, Long and McQuaid have been opening new stores in Canada over the past couple of years. They seem to be doing great. Yeah, I think that model that I was saying about, that's hard if you're like one store in one little town. If you got a network of stores, like and even at Guitar Center's lowest point, they're still opening new stores. Now, I think, you correct me, Todd, because you'll know better than I do. But the vibe I get is that Long and McQuaid is a little more like Sam Ash, like kind of family owned, maybe not quite the same beast as Guitar Center, right? Like, so I could absolutely see that, right? Especially if you got a network of stores where you can spread things out a bit.
Yeah.
And, because then you got a much wider net of people just walking in.
Well,
right?
you got that going for you. You have a name that's already billboarded. You know what I mean? Like, who drives through a metro area and can't look up a Guitar Center and find one there? You know what I mean? Like, for most.
Well, because even like if I was somewhere, like let's say I'm somewhere playing with Robbie and I, my guy that ran out of strings, I just look,
GC.
Guitar stores, and what usually pops up first is GC, and if I can, I'll go to a small store.
That's right.
But I know Guitar Center is going to have what I need in that respects.
Yep.
And they're usually like in a more well-traveled area most of the time. You know what I mean? It just depends.
Yeah. Well, and it's understanding too those smaller shops that Johnny's talking about. There's nothing wrong with that, but the issue is without a certain niche, you're gonna miss. I think it's more about cultivating the personality of your store in general.
It's kind of becoming like the stores who are killing it have kind of become a destination.
Yes.
Like you want to go to CME, you want to go to Music Villa.
Hell, even
like
Sweetwater.
Even Sweetwater.
People want to go to
that's true.
Sweetwater. Like I would go. You know what I mean?
And they're a little different. They've created this online empire thing,
Absolutely.
But still though,
There's
you're like,
the
man, I just want to
Sweetwater
go experience. Yeah, exactly.
Yes. I think that's for a lot of stores, a lot of and that doesn't have to be like the highest of high-end thing. That doesn't have to be Fender Custom Shop.
Yeah,
it could be whatever you want. Talking about the acoustic shop guys, what I love about them, they have cut in their niche in the acoustic world as being a place that, hey, we get into all these little details with acoustic guitars,
which is cool.
It's amazing, and they all love it and they believe in it and they're all super into bluegrass and stuff like that and ring-a-dings, which is cool. Send them some ring-a-dings.
You know, and I'm not saying you can't start the other way and then have room to grow. I'm just saying, I just think that's the path to like, you know. But I mean, and I want all those places to survive.
Absolutely.
And, you know,
Like-
I'm not saying I want it to be this way.
No.
I'm just saying that's what I'm thinking.
One to those shops that you were talking about before with the lower end stuff, I have a special place in my heart because growing up, that's all I knew. I'm sure, like for you, that's all there was.
And
like,
I barely knew that, honestly,
Yeah.
because we didn't really even have
yeah,
that. A lot
There
of
was
what I had
one.
was like, you know, relegated to like musician's friend, you know, getting the catalog, right?
Yeah.
But we did have one little shop like that taught lessons, and that was where, you know, everything I knew or got in the beginning, the first year or two, was that place.
For me,
and it wasn't around very long after that.
No, that local music store in Sanford for me was going there and hanging out, you know.
All right, Derek, you see our old Tom's question. What was y'all's breakout video, the one that set it all off? I don't know if we really had like
had
that.
one.
Breakout video
Was it Eric Johnson?
Johnson at NAMM show. That one
That's
had
right.
like 90,000 views in like
It's like
48 hours
yeah,
or something like
something
that.
crazy. Yeah.
He's out of tune.
Yeah.
Everybody was some very critical folks in the comments, but that does give you a boost, right? And then things kind of
Yeah, I mean, that got us like 400, 500 subscribers probably off of that video. And then it was then we got to 1,000 and then.
Yeah, I remember the day that we hit. I think it was 10,000, because me and Baxter went and like got like a case of beer and some stuff and like brought it back to the shop. You know, just because it was like, that was such a cool moment to be like, oh wow,
It's not
we hit it.
It's
You
not
know?
an equal steady climb.
No, and it
to the
changes.
top.
You know, what's crazy about that is when we hit that, I felt like we had this huge surge of growth for probably 2 years.
Yeah.
And then it kind of tapered back, and then we had more.
Well,
You know, it's
everybody
weird.
Was locked in their house
COVID,
during
yeah.
watching our video, and I think that's where a lot
That-
of channels.
Yeah,
blew
surge.
up.
exactly.
Yep.
And then I don't know if some of those
Dumb
channels
luck.
are as popular as
Yeah.
they used to be.
I think there's a lot of channels that have fallen off.
Yeah.
But you
And I
know.
think too, we've talked about this before. How many topics on guitar stuff can you talk about without, you know, like rehashing the same thing? Like, are we gonna do a Tube Screamer shootout again for the 500 millionth time? It's like, you know, you gotta
Our most
think out of the
video
box.
Is why you need a jazz master.
why you need a jazz master.
That's got
You don't?
307,000 views. That's 300,000.
That's weird for all those people to watch that just to hear that they didn't need a jazz master. No, I'm just kidding.
Hang on, Ned's got one here. I've done so much for Casino Guitars. They keep offering me a job, but I keep telling them I want to stay where it's winter 8 months a year.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's wrong with you? Are you out of your
1,000%.
mind?
Sean, do you guys know if we got the Paisley Strat coming in?
I think
mean,
we-
the Paisley Telly?
Paisley.
I think we do, don't we?
Tell.
The Lost
New
Paisley.
Brad Paisley, the green
Oh, the
one.
new Bad Paisley.
The Lost Paisley.
Brad
We've had a couple
Paisley.
people
Yes,
already messaging in about it.
I believe we
I
did.
think we ordered one, didn't we?
I think so. I don't know. Me and Baxter didn't talk about it. We didn't get a chance yesterday. We need to.
There was.
So,
There was.
I
I'd
assume-
I'm pretty sure.
I'm almost positive it would blow my mind if we didn't get one of those on the way. But
I
we'll
don't- I
have the
don't know.
pre-order up.
There's only like 70 of them being made.
Okay.
They're
Well,
super limited, team built.
I'm gonna assume that we're definitely getting one, but the pre-order will be built this afternoon. If you got any questions on it, email us.
I've been
let us
seeing.
know.
I've been seeing all the. You know, the Paisley is there with like Zach Childs and
Oh yeah, you
what's
see
his
them
name
perform in
playing.
Nashville.
Yeah, they had the little Fender play. It was pretty
You
cool.
could almost feel Chandler's boner.
I feel like Chandler's moved on.
You think
Now, if that was old Dwight,
Well, and he met him.
check out our friend Chandler's new
Yes.
song.
Yes. He's got a
might be
music video,
appreciated.
too.
It's called "It's Not
you
You,
got a
It's Me."
video too?
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
we got
pretty
a cool
good.
video.
Up the wire.
Pretty
It's
darn
actually a pretty good
It
video. I
sounds
was
great,
like, wow.
man. Chandler, like y'all, he was here. He was a teenager. He was graduating high school. He went to Belmont. We're like, I don't know. I
Barely
hope
tuned
he
the
can
damn
do it.
guitar.
And my God, now
Well, they
he's
had all
like-
those cameras in there. He
Now
got
he's a
nervous.
sex symbol. Lower Broadway's own sex symbol.
He's
No,
on
I
his
mean
way up.
he's killing it, man.
He's gonna
doing
spread
great.
his cheeks and play girl.
Chandler Dozier. Check him out.
He is. He's great. You can catch it. He plays the underdog, but primarily he plays
Layla's a lot, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's down. Hey, you'll find him. Just
Yeah, I
look
was
for
gonna say he
Chandler.
plays often. Yeah.
Chandler Dozier. He's doing a bunch of like the country nights at the different places. Like, cause he's a little more traditional, real kind of country.
He
Got a
is.
fiddle player.
If you like that Bakersfield kind of vibe,
That's
like
his-
Dwight
that's his thing.
Yoakam, like he was saying,
That's his thing.
he's all about it. Like
For
loves
the,
it.
The man with the tuxedo telly. That's him.
If you walked up to him and you said, "Son, you're better than Dwight Yoakam,"
Oh
he
my God.
would explode.
Lose his mind.
He'd be like, "Ah!"
He's a pals with old Luke McQuarrie.
He is.
They're pretty tight.
They're awesome.
But check out this question from our friend Basil Tiffany. Which should be my next amp? Derek, you can weigh in because you like Dr. Z's as well. Dr. Z Jetta, Dr. Z Z28, or the Dr. Z Z Plus. I know what I would lean towards.
A Vox. No, I'm kidding. I'm not a Dr. Z guy. I'm sorry.
You already got a Maz? I don't know. That wasn't on the list here. The Z28 is a cool amp, but out of those three, not knowing anything else like about what you got, I'm gonna lean towards the Z Plus just because that's a good, like, you just couldn't go wrong with that. I feel like that would work for anybody. But the Z28 is pretty awesome too. The Jetta's fine. It's just probably, it might be my least, in my brain, the least desirable for me out of that list. But you still couldn't go wrong. I don't think you could go wrong with any. I'm a fan of Dr. Z. I know Derek is. Sean hates them.
I'm not a fan. I'll be honest. They're fine. It's just not for
Sean
me.
hates them. I think there was a moment in time that you probably came after.
Oh yeah.
There was a time when Dr. Z was like, oh my God, like if
I
you had,
never. Yeah.
I'm not sure you.
I never
experienced
experienced
that.
a bit of that. I was
Right.
like, huh?
It was the deal for a while, man.
I miss
And I
the
think they're a
way.
good company. But Kevin Wash says he's settled on 16 amps. It's Granville Helm. We just
What?
talking some magnetones yesterday. Was it yesterday? Maybe the
We
day
were,
before.
yeah.
I can't remember. But anyways, got some things coming up. We're trying to sort out in the works for the old some magnetone content and some opportunities for some really cool amps to be maybe for sale here at the old casino. So pretty cool. Look, it's the guitar shop. Good morning, sir. Enjoyed the support of the local stores video yesterday. Thank you. We like local shops. Local shops are good. So there you go. Mayor McShee says people want the experience as well as the gear. That is very true. Talking about shops, that is true.
Experience, having fun, hanging out, dude. Come hang out.
And that's
what it's
part.
all
And
about.
I think the guitar shop, and I think if I'm not mistaken, they're in Anderson. Are you guys in Anderson, South Carolina? Is that right?
So I'm almost positive.
Seems like I've never been there in person, but just from videos and stuff, seems like the kind of place where you could go in and just hang out and feel like, oh, this is a place I kind of belong, And I think that goes a long way towards that.
Yes.
Like that's a long way towards that vibe of it being a thing and surviving, as a music shop, especially as like an independent music shop these days,
Absolutely.
But yeah.
Absolutely.
Somebody said Baxter's joined the Church of Bassology now. I've converted him.
It's almost scary.
If we had a little clip from Sunday, I'd play it for you guys. Go to my Instagram. There's a clip of Sunday. Baxter bassing it up. Now that I've
He gets his thump down. He's got like a thump to him,
he keeps that pulse. Bum, bum, bum. It's good though.
It
It's
is
a good thing.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
It keeps old Wild rolling back there on track. You know how he is.
Full-time job.
He wants to go off.
The
He's ready to
rain and rolling
explode,
Jimmy.
dude.
He is. That man's.
He'd tear that damn cymbal set down, dude.
He's rocking and rolling. It's Jack Stowe, our pal. Me and him are always, or now he's got one of those, the wild, what are they called? God dang it. The hats, the wild. I can't think of what they're called. But anyways, I'm always lusting after them.
Oh.
I got to find them. Well, yeah, just wild hats. Wild hats.
What? Whoa, well, that's easy
If
enough.
you're into hats, this dude right here. This guy, you probably can't see that at all. But if you can zoom in. Man, that dude makes some cool hats. And I like cool hats. I don't know if you guys like cool hats, but it's cool.
You and Baxter should play Whipping Post.
Whip and post.
If you know anything, you'd know that Rolling J. Beckerman already knows how to play Whipping Post.
We're trying to only play lame songs. Super lame stuff. So
Originals.
Originals. Then you'll find out they're on. I like how the one thing about this whole the Yakmo Tura guy, right? I'm sure I'm saying his name wrong, but I don't really care because I have no, whatever. Everyone's like, the lesser content creators. He stole the lesser or like the smaller content creator songs. It's like, I know they don't mean anything by that, but
don't.
It's like these channels with 8 million subscribers. They're like, these small content creators don't deserve this. And I'm like, man, imagine your song got stolen and you're watching it over and over again. People refer to you as like
the little guy.
Basically, you mean like, oh yeah, these little kids, these special.
This little creators. Nothing over here. No. I know what they mean, but it's like just say a content creator. Just say a person. It's okay. We don't have to give.
The backhanded.
Stay in your place, though.
hey. Jack says, John, you ever played a baritone acoustic? Indeed, I have. We got one now. We've had one pretty consistently for a while because that Taylor baritone is very cool.
I've been talking about wanting to buy that thing. I'm like ate up. I'm like,
and that's probably the only one I've ever played, like as far as a baritone acoustic.
Yeah.
So those are very, very cool.
That's fun, man.
Very, very cool. Serge, the chances I play with drummers that would break your hand if you even touched a cymbal. If you really want to piss off your drummer, go and smack his cymbal with your Telehead stock.
Done it, dude. I'm
like, what? Oh, and then you realize they're expensive and that does crack them. And you're like, oh, no, I'm an asshole. But I've done it too. In my ignorance many, many years ago.
I've never done into rolling.
I've also, like on little cramp stages, be there where you're like, the drummer accidentally hits you with a stick. Or you just like keep getting close to the cymbals and there's like, bam! Some of those dudes are not playing around.
Get serious.
Not playing around.
Get serious. Stay away from my cage.
So, anyways. Yep, Jack's still talking about the wild hats. They are badass. One day I'm going to get one. I think they need to sponsor us. Make us all a hat. Or maybe just make us one hat and we'll all share it. It's just my day to have the hat.
The smell of that thing.
It's my day. I wore my I have yet to find a good like straw hat that I want to wear on stage, right? So luckily it wasn't that hot on Sunday. Like it was really pleasant outside. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna wear the felt one. But
the problem with straw hats, dude, they always put some dumb patch on it or something like that. Like what you need is a straw hat without the loop.
Well, I think you gotta go more Western. You gotta go more cowboy.
Well, you don't want to look like old. You don't want to be Jack Johnson.
No.
You want to be Alan Jackson.
I mean, I'd take Jack Johnson's money, but
making banana pancakes. Oh man, listen.
It seems to me that maybe.
I don't have this student anymore,
Pretty much
so I can just be clear about this. I can't stand Jack Johnson, dude. He ain't done nothing wrong, but he ain't done nothing right.
Somebody says a Stetson. I got a Stetson, and actually I have a straw open road Stetson. Now, this is probably my fault, but I feel like it doesn't fit just right. I feel like I ordered it poorly.
Is it tight?
It's a little tight. Can maybe stretch it, but it doesn't sit quite where I want it to sit.
You can take it to that hat lady. She might know how to stretch it. You might have to like steam it up and like.
Straw stretches.
It doesn't really. It just
you
kind of
could
cracks
still-
and breaks, you know.
It could like push room if you steamed it in.
Well, but you can't steam straw the same way. Like it's that band. Now you might could get it. It's the band, you know.
Yeah.
The band is what is the size, right?
I think it can be done. I think you guys don't know what you're talking about because you guys don't build fucking hats.
I don't know.
So I'm gonna go talk to
don't
the hat
know.
lady for Johnny.
You can definitely.
Oh,
Yeah, because this was straw.
Yeah.
You know,
It's kind of crazy how much you can stretch felt out like that. Like, have you seen somebody do that?
Well,
It's
that's
like,
what's cool about that Wild Hats guy's Instagram, dude. Is he's all showing himself making them, and he's like talking to you about
I'm gonna Google
you know.
You can stretch a straw.
Hey, I got some straw you can come over here and stretch. Don't Google nothing.
Joe's jamming.
Did you hear me? I said it earlier. Fuck the internet.
You're right. The open road does sit more like on top of your head, but
Yes, you can stretch
it sits way
Hot
on top
damn.
of my head. I don't know. I just wish I would have got. It's like I should have got like a centimeter wider. Because my problem is I have a lot of hair. I have a lot of hair, and having a lot of hair, if you've never had it, it does weird things to hats sometimes when they ride up. It's unfortunate. But like all my felt hats fit amazingly. Actually, the one I was wearing Sunday, I had to get the little things in the liner because I got it too big. But now I know.
People
Now
are,
I've learned.
People are loving the old Gibson cut here. It is a mullet, folks. It is a mullet.
I like
it's a type mullet. It ain't like as cut loose as old Mighty Hoss's is. He's got a good mullet. I saw him Sunday. I was like, damn.
He's got it going. My little Hoss spawn.
I told him, I said, dude.
He's mulleted out, bro.
It's like, I wish I could do that. That's amazing. It's glorious.
It is pretty glorious, and he loves it. It's kind of funny. He kept saying he was gonna cut it off, but then every time I take him to get his haircut, he's like, nah, just cut it. And they cut the side again, and he lets it ride.
Good.
On the top. I feel like the top's getting shorter, the back's getting longer. Like we're getting to 90s levels.
We're like, you're gonna have to start calling him Billy Ray here soon, dude.
We're not quite there, but we're getting there. On a big old Hoss.
Don't break my heart. My can break it.
Serge says hats at my local shop here in Colorado cost $1,000. It is insane how easy it is to spend $1,000 on a hat, like a custom hat. You could spend that on Stetson and stuff too, but you can get Stetsons and the kind of stuff we're talking about for a few $100 to $300. But you get in those wild hats, I think you get into like that $500 to $700 to $800 to $900 range.
Yeah.
But
which
if you wear a hat all the time. What do you think? People used to just wear hats, right? Like that. What do you think? I wonder where the change was, like in society, where there's just like, bam, no more hats. And why do you think? And it's funny, like how tied the hat thing is to guitar playing. I think, that's like the place where it's still culturally acceptable to just wear this random hat and not feel funny about it. But I guess that's just you kind of like being this character on stage.
Thinking about it quite literally. You got a hat. You're wearing the hat because you don't want the sun to get on you, right? For one, or you don't want it to be rained on.
Or you want it just to bake you.
Yeah, you wanted to cook you. But doing all that simply to say, maybe it's because we're spending more time inside. Because people would take their hats off inside, right? And now we're just like,
if you get a nice hat. We're not talking like baseball hats. Those hats, it is funny when you take them off. It's fine. You wear a baseball hat and it's like hugging your head. Then you get the weird ring. You don't really get that as much if you're wearing a nice hat, which is kind of nice. But I don't know. That's Jeff Harper says it went from nice hats to no hats to baseball caps. That's very true.
Chad B asked if Skylar liked my haircut. She does. So you're right. Screw everyone else.
It's true. It's true. Mary McChee says hats of superior quality can also be handed down, heirloom value. That's super true. In fact, I see on Marketplace when I'm lusting after guitars and amps often, where it'll be like, a lot of 10 stats, but problem is you always go and they have these tiny little hits, and it's
there's some odd hats out there too. A pork pie hat, that's a strange one,
Mary McChee says you want to bring it back.
What, a pork pie
Baxter's
hat?
got a little tiny one like that.
Apparently,
Ned's Donut Shop says a bunch of dorks still wear cowboy hats from Tractor Supply. Hey, whatever makes you happy.
There is something about buying a hat like that from like a Tractor Supply that seems ingenuine. It's like, no, I need to go find like a Western World store or something like that.
Just
Somewhere you walk in and you're like, wait a second. I mean, buying a hat off of Broadway probably isn't any better.
The thing about when you get into like the real Western hats, right?
Yeah.
The guys who wear them for real know it's kind of like having a great guitar but being really crappy. You know what I mean? It's like, and then you worry, you're like, because they get them fitted and they know how to wear them, and it's just like, they talk junk.
I think too, it's kind of like when you wear a hat, it's like anything. You gotta wear it with confidence. You gotta own the hat all day.
You got to just put it on and forget.
You ever see a man who's uncomfortable in a hat? You can tell.
It's bad.
Bad news.
It's bad news.
But like Baxter, whenever he busts out his fedora, let's talk about a fedora specifically, because we've talked about this. Fedoras that's a hard pull, man. Sometimes a fedora is like, it's a weak move, It's like,
there was this weird time where like,
pick a card.
Yeah, I don't know. Bean Lamb said it. You can't let the hat wear you.
That's right.
Constant fidgeting and adjusting. I don't know if this is as appropriate to say. It's kind of like a man wearing a gun.
Oh.
He's never worn a gun.
Oh, dude. You know how you can tell,
Like I
too?
just got my first, concealed carry permit.
Here's how you can tell with that. You see a dude do this all the time. They'll put their hand on it, like this.
Bad news.
Bad news. What are you
Better
doing?
to just not,
What are you doing?
bad news.
Like, everybody I grew up around, you didn't even know they had it. You'd be like, whoa.
If that's the thing, you failed. You failed. But everybody's got to learn. You got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
You got to learn. So no judgment or shame.
Yeah, it's okay. You understand. It's the rules of the road.
You just got to learn. Sean says, I need a real Stetson, but damn, that's expensive. I mean, for real. Somebody on here, I forgot who made the comment, said, you wonder if the hat guys talk shit about, damn, $4,000 for a guitar? Yeah, I mean, it's probably the same.
Bullshit.
It's exactly the same thing.
You can tell, too, whenever they don't deserve it. You're like, what the hell?
Real expensive ass hats. That's just one thing in a line of very expensive things.
Watches, hats, saddles. Yeah, dude. Leatherwork stuff, yeah.
Jen Rice says it never needs to be known until it's known. That's it.
Well, there you go.
That's the wisdom for today.
I need to sneak next
hat.
door.
And open the old shop.
Johnny, I'll let you close them out.
Johnny.
I'll be your Johnny on the spot.
Fedora Tippers was the internet name for a looser back in 2016. There you go. That's funny. Yeah, I feel like the name Fedora. Like if you're wearing a fedora, you shouldn't even call it you should just,
Fedora.
What are you going to do?
Fedora today?
Texas Hatters made the hats for Skinnerd and SRV. Make a lot of money from tools like me to buy copies. Those wild hats will do a really good, like the Ronnie Van Zant hat. It's pretty amazing. So Bean Levin says, "What's for lunch, Derek?" That's a great question. We had the old Tokyo Express yesterday, so today might be something easy like a Wendy's.
Yeah, Wendy's sounds good.
Sometimes we go easy. Wendy's and Arby's, something like that maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Kid Rock's beaver skin hats are still the peak of hats, in my opinion. Beaver skin, I mean, no matter what, yeah, beaver's kind of the deal.
Yeah, we need Kid Rock to send us some beaver skin hats. That'd be dope.
Surely we have some connection to Kid Rock, right?
I would think.
I feel like the town we live in,
Somebody's got
and between that and music,
and gold.
man, Bean Limbs is going to Popeyes. Do we even have a Popeyes? We don't really have a Popeyes.
No, we don't have any Popeyes.
We don't have a Popeyes. Can those Marshall pedals be used as preamps into effects return or power amp? I don't think so. They're just like kind of the newest Marshall pedals, if that's what you're talking about, are just basically, they're just like drive pedals, But what are you going to do? Chad B says, I'll buy the pizza next time in town. Maybe we need pizza today, Derek. Maybe we need a soap pies. I could do a soap pies today. I could do a little buffalo chicken pizza. I think that would be pretty good. Pretty good. Mayor McChee says, y'all ain't going to lose weight eating fast food. Make good choices, drink water. Yeah, no, for sure. That is true. We're just trying to be a little healthier, just occasionally. That's why we try not to do too much. That's why I eat my own eggs from my own little chicken every morning. And then I try to make good choices at night. Not to mention, fasting is a good thing. Every now and again, just don't eat. Derek, you still doing your intermittent fasting thing? No.
I'm completely off any diet whatsoever.
But now, and my coffee today, I haven't been drinking any coffee from anywhere except home, but I ran out today. So this was just cold brew with a little bit of cream, no sugar. I've also been on the old raw milk kick. So judge me. Judge me if you want, but I think it's way better for you. What's the difference between an accordion and an onion? Nobody cries when you chop up an accordion. I mean, that's kind of true. That's true. Chad B says we're all going to die anyway. That's the spirit. Who wants to be old? Not us. Adam says a fresh egg would be awesome right now. It is kind of insane how much better fresh eggs are than the ones you buy in the old shops. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What else we got interesting going on? Y'all, I was playing our 54 limited custom shop. Like, you know, they only make the 54 Strats on years that are like anniversaries. You can't just order one, which is odd, but you can't. I have no idea how that guitar is still here because it is ridiculously good. Sadly, you can't go around just buying custom shops from the shop, or I'll go broke quickly. But if anybody needs a good Strat, it's probably my favorite one right now. Poop Soup 11 says, calories in, calories out, no secret. You can eat a dozen Big Macs if you do it right. I don't think that's true. I actually disagree with that pretty hard because of the seed oils and all that kind of stuff, man. You just have all this inflammation. I don't think all the calories are created equally. And I used to think that. And I think that used to be truer because I do think ingredients have changed in things. Not to get on our whole conspiracy theory food kick at the end, right at the end. But yeah, I don't think I necessarily think that I subscribe to that. There you go, Mary McCheese. Cancer doesn't care about macros. It's true. And I'll be honest with you, I don't really care about losing weight too much. I just want to be generally healthier, feel a little better. Greg McFadden says, I really dig the AV2 1954 Strat. Played a used one last week, thinking about horse trading for it. Oh, that's cool, man. I mean, all that American Vintage 2 stuff and like the American Original stuff before it were great guitars. Really, really good. In fact, we've got, I think it's a 1 American Vintage. Well, I'm not sure what year it is, but it's a 55 Strat that we just got in on consignment. That's a killer one that we haven't even put up on the website. It's also a really good deal because it's got the original pickups and a loaded pick guard. And I forgot what pickups they put into it. What? What? Hell yeah. This is why we love Surrender. Y'all, Surrender sends us so many cool things, which we got a few of you guys that send us awesome things to demo and to try out. Kevin Walsh, I know, is here. He does it too. We gathered up all Surrender stuff and sent it back, and you should have seen the box. And we still actually have one guitar we got to send back to him this week, which is kind of hilarious. But anyways, all that to say, God bless you guys for being awesome. What do you think about the new JHS Dumble pedal? I think JHS figured out that if you let people do the work of putting their own pedal together, you could charge them money for it and sell a shit ton of them.
and ride off the planes of the
right.
Dumble
Yeah.
without
not a Dumble. I'm sure they're cool. Has anyone put one together and like, have we heard it yet, Derek? I don't even know. I haven't paid close enough attention to know if we've even heard one yet. But I think it's kind of neat.
It is kind of curious, like, if I made a guitar called Not a Stratocaster.
And put it, and it was a Strat in parts that you sent out. What do you think we can, I mean,
I feel like Fender would sue you.
Probably.
I feel like having Dumble or Klon in the name of the product might be slightly illegal. But
well, you know, and it's interesting you say that because the Dumble guys are like kind of on the warpath with that a bit. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see.
How long? Grab one if you can.
You know,
get sued.
Which might be cool. Tom said $100 and assembly only takes 5 minutes. Seem worth the punt? No, I absolutely think it's worth the punt, and I think the JHS stuff is good and sounds good. And I don't know him personally, but I really like Josh's stuff that he puts online. He seems like a cool dude. So, but I do think it's funny. Okay, Cheese Pizza says the Harp Lady did a video on it. If you guys don't know the Harp Lady, she plays the harp and does all kind of cool pedal things. So that's cool. Bean Lamb says, I'm no fool. How much do I have to pay you to work for you for free? I mean, there you go. There you go. But anyways, that's it. So I don't know. Maybe we'll see more of that and we'll chat about it next week on it. Let's see. A few more questions. Are Dumble gonna sell amps anytime soon? Man, here's what I think is going on with the Dumble amps. You know, I don't think they ever intend to really sell amps. I think, you know, like the guy said, they got to do just enough to be able to keep the copyright, you know, and be able to keep that because if they're not, I guess the way the law is, and you probably know more about this than I do, Mary McCheese, if they're not actually actively engaged in the business of you know, producing and selling those things, then I guess they cannot protect and go after, people who are going against the copyright is what they seem to at least think. And I guess that's right. So I think they're going to make just enough to sell it. And it almost seemed to me, Derek, you tell me because you were there too, like there's people that are kind of in the club, they got Dumbles, and these guys, have got the people who were working with Dumble before he passed away. So like if a Dumble comes in and they fix it and they give it back to these guys that own the Dumbles, it seems like kind of a little elite club. It almost seems to me like they're going to build one. One of those guys is going to buy it. They're going to buy it back. They're going to pass it around, and that's going to be enough kind of commerce to be able to protect the Dumble copyright. I mean, I don't know if we're ever looking at under these guys who own it right now. Just hey, you can order a new Dumble and have it built. I don't know if it didn't seem to me like that's going to be the thing. I mean, I can't say for sure. I don't know, but that was the vibe I got. So yeah. Unless they're bringing in money, how can they afford to defend themselves? The dude who owns it, I don't think that's an issue for him. It seems like he could absolutely afford to do it. He's been pretty successful in the music industry from what it seems like. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, I think you're right. Mary McShee says JP Morgan wins in court by having more money, not by being right. That's absolutely true. But I think these guys all have money. And I think they just kind of, but I mean, again, those guys are not spring chickens, so they can't do it indefinitely. I don't know if they got a plan for past the next 10, 15, 20 years. So I don't know. Tom says, like the Klein, why sell new Dumbles? They're so rare. They basically own a money printer. Need cash? Sell one it. Yeah, there you go. So I don't know. Todd says, I think they were filling it out at NAMM, though, to see if people were talking or wishing for mass-produced Dumbles. I mean, people are obviously wishing for that, or else there wouldn't be such a market for all the, going all the way back to, like, the Fuchs stuff and Amplified Nation and even the Two-Rock stuff to some extent, right? Like, I think all that's fueled by this myth of the Dumbles. So, I don't know. I also know that they're pretty unforgiving amps. Some of them, like as far as what you put in, you get right back out. So I don't know if they're for everybody. I don't know, but I just, after talking to those guys, like I said, I don't really foresee a giant push for like new Dumbles, but maybe, who knows? Brian says, if I can make it down to pick up my order, I'll bring my brother's amp for you to try out. Very cool. Sounds like a plan. I don't care if they're Klon or Dumble clones. If it sounds good, I like it. Yeah, I think that's the best way to be, Bean Lamb says Dumble's going to give you any place to hide. Yeah, that's the deal, And I think there's a lot of good kind of boutique, professional amps like that. They just don't have that sag or they're not very forgiving. They're very stiff kind of amps, which is really awesome for some playing styles and less than awesome for lots of playing styles. But what are you going to do? They should make another brand under the Dumble umbrella or buy ownership in some of these brands like Amplified Nation. I could see that, like making this like new kind of Dumble models would be kind of neat. Like bring it into the future. That would be kind of cool, I think, and not necessarily have it be like an overdrive special or like a steel string singer. That might be cool. I can't see them partnering or buying into the Amplified Nation guys. In fact, I'd be a little bit shocked if they weren't a little bit behind Amplified Nation changing some of those models. I don't know that, but I'm assuming maybe some pressure from them is probably what caused those model name changes. But that guy kind of says he is the authority on the Dumble stuff, and I don't know. I've played those amps. Some of them are really good. Some of them are really okay, in my opinion. But that's probably the nature of Dumbles, right? Because, if they're really tailored to somebody's playing style, they're going to be awesome for some guys and not. But, I mean, that's true for any amps, right? It's true for some people hate Marshalls, and some people think Marshall is like the best thing that ever happened. I mean, it's just the way it is. Same thing with Vox, all that stuff. So, I don't know. It would be really interesting if you could just order. And I wonder, like, if they were going to really keep the spirit of Dumble, I think you'd have to like make and if they were going to keep it sort of like the same prestige they have now, then you would have to order a Dumble, go there, let them hear you play, and they'd have to tune it to your playing, sort of the way that Alexander Dumble did. And I don't know if anybody can do that. I don't know if they can do that in the same way. Who's got time for that? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if people want to pay for that. Or the other way is just to have a generic overdrive special model and a generic, steel string stringer or blah blah blah, steel string singer model and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know. I don't know if that captures the vibe. Todd says the Dumble Squire brand. That would be kind of funny. Ned says I want it to be PV. I want PV amps to be all made by Dumble from now on. We got a little PV head in the shop right now that somebody sold us or is on consignment or something. And I called it a Mississippi Marshall. And I was kind of shocked that Baxter and Sean had never heard that term before. So please let me know. But I feel like that's a thing, right? Called PV's Mississippi Marshalls. I don't know. Anyways, whatever. I like some of the old PV stuff. It's got a thing. Greg McFadden says, I think the Synergy amp concept is really cool. Just change out the module in the preamp section for a totally different amp setup. I think that's kind of neat too. And it's funny to me that that's kind of held on and is still around. And who knows, maybe that keeps going and becomes a thing. But Magic Man says Behringer will be making Dumble clones soon enough. It is very popular. Wouldn't that be awesome if Behringer made like a $300 Dumble that was amazing sounding? They could probably do it. Anybody in the room ever play a Squire Vintage Modified series? Well, I'm sure I have. I just don't have any crazy thoughts on it. Probably pretty good. But yeah, there you go. Derek, anything else for our day? I think that's probably close to it. As always, thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate you guys. We will see you next time. We may or may not have made the Money for Nothing video available for 24 hours. If not, who knows? There is a partial clip of it on my Instagram, so you can go find the first half of it there. Anyways, you guys are awesome. We'll see you next time. Hit like, hit subscribe, click the bell, share with your friends so that we can keep growing. I think we're about to actually hit 70,000 maybe. Thank God. Close. Talk to you guys soon.